Keep on filming, filming, filming. We're just gonna keep on filming and swimming on. Hey, beautiful people, my name is Kristen. Thanks for stopping by my channel to see what it is that I plan to read in the month of March. I like to try to pick a March of the Mammoth, and I participate in middle grade March. And I'm not necessarily this year going to dive real strict or specific into those, but I still kind of want to do a nod to them. So here's what I got going on. For my March of the Mammoths, I looked at what I currently have purchased on my bookshelves, and I do not have a single book that is 800 pages plus, which is shocking for me because I am a fan of chunky books. I love chunky books. I love a good, thick, long book. But this is the longest book that I have, which is 793 pages, but it's actually 3 books. And this is Michael Connelly, which is a popular detective fiction author who I'm not even sure if he himself writes it all or if he has kind of ghost writers or people who write in his style and then he approves because he pumps them out really quickly. But I had picked up from a little free library The Desert Star. That was Harry Bosch and Renee Ballard, which those are 2 of Michael Connelly's famous detectives, and they both have their own storylines and series. And it's kind of like when you start something in the middle. So I had started in the middle, but it didn't matter. It was a fantastic book, really fun to read. So my father actually owns this. This is my dad's copy, and he even takes notes in the inside of his thing. And it's like good, very good, and excellent. So he like took notes. So I look forward to reading these, or I might download these on my Audible as my Audible credits. We'll see how the month goes, what else I want to listen to, because I really enjoyed listening to thrillers and mysteries. If you have, I've never listened to Michael Connelly though. I don't think it's the author himself who's doing it, but if you have, or you think that this would be a book that you should audio or read in person, in print, let me know in the comments. This is what I'm going to count as my mammoth book. So we'll see. For my nonfiction, because I always like to do a nonfiction, and my classic, I'm going to kind of cheat a little because I'm going to be doing this thick one and middle grade March. So I'm going to read The Secret Life of Wilkie Collins, and I will be listening to a free Liverbox audio of one of his stories. He writes so much. He is such a prolific author, and I love him. He's always got, not always, I shouldn't say always, he often has something supernatural, ghosts, or myths, or mysterious happenings, or leaves things kind of hanging or unexplained, like there might be something otherworldly in his stories and dialogues. He is known as the founding father, if you will, of detective stories, which goes along with the fact that I've got the Harry Bosch series started. And then look at this beautiful book I also picked up at a thrift store. It's illustrated guide, and it has like all these different pictures and articles and history. And I'm not going to read this cover to cover, but I just kind of thought the book on his life plus the illustrated guide plus listening to a story of some length that I haven't yet encountered by him, but he definitely one of my top favorite classic authors of all time. Then going into the middle grade, I'm trying to get the whole stack here. Into the middle grade, I'm going to try to read as many of these as I can. So I have been reading the books of Elsewhere. This is the 5th and final in this series. The little girl Olive, she has the ability, along with magical cats, to go in and out of portraits, and she hooks up with other characters who are in the portraits, and it's a long standing mystery of like family ties and magic paints and artists and things that are going on for the control of this kind of magical world, if you will, and kind of trapping people there, or things get actually a little dark or a little creepy. So even though it's middle grade, it actually has some things that I think would be a little scary if you're a sensitive young reader. But I'm looking forward to the conclusion. I'm looking forward to how this all wraps up and comes to pass, and maybe the adults in the stories in the books are kind of enlightened and brought into it. So we will look forward to that. But then I'm going to start 3 new series. I think that's a little crazy of me in some ways, but here we go. So the first, I want to start The Keeper of Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. So this is stories of I think the girl is telepathic, and then the boy can read minds, and they start into this kind of realm trying to go on these adventures and kind of be superheroes with their things, but not really. I mean, they can't fly or lift heavy things, but I think does it say they're 10, 12? They're 12. So very fun, hopefully lighthearted, but a good adventure. I'm looking for a good adventure with this series. I'll let you know. Also, I really do like kind of that supernatural nod, as you know from the Wilkie Collins commentary. But this one, The Strangers, sounds really interesting. It's Margaret Peterson Haddix. And this is a series. I don't know how many are in the series, but it's a fairly substantial series of supernatural. And in this, you've got this kind of dual universe going on. You've got 3 children, and then there's a very public, high-profile kidnapping of 3 children, and they have the same first and middle names of both sets of siblings, as well as the same exact birthdays. So maybe there's another universe, there's a misunderstanding where they took the wrong ones, what's going on. So very interesting sounding. And I'm going to pick up Al Capone Does My Shirts by Jennifer Chaldenko. There are 4, I think, in this series, and it is the story of a boy who moves to Alcatraz Island, and he's not actually dealing directly with all the gangsters in prison there, but he becomes schoolmate friends with the warden's daughter, and she kind of ropes him into adventures. And so it's supposed to have a lot of cute humor and be pretty lighthearted, but I thought that sounded very clever and interesting. For a based on a true story, nonfiction but still fictional, middle grade book, A Wolf Called Wander. This is the story of, based on tracking an actual wolf that went 1,000 miles. I'm not exactly sure why they started tracking the original wolf, but I look forward to learning something, some actual nonfiction happenings. But I like a good animal story. I am one that likes a good animal story. When You Reach Me, this book is a girl who receives a mysterious note, and she needs to write back, and there are strange happenings that supposedly there are people in danger, and it's kind of up to her and this individual to write or to correspond or to save the day. I don't really understand reading the back of it exactly how that's going to play out. I like have in my mind those little cootie notes that we would make in elementary school, and they would be, in our minds they were way more serious than they were. That's the kind of feeling I got from just speculating about this book. I think it's a standalone. I look forward to going there. I like things that are a little off, a little weird, a little interesting, a little intriguing. And that probably is going to happen in this one, Tau Zero. So this book is people that are going at light speed on a journey, space travel, obviously, and something goes wrong, and I think their ship can't stop. And so what are the implications and ramifications, where I think every year they're traveling is equivalent to like 33 years on Earth, and so it's a crisis. It's kind of important, right? And I like the time and the concept of mass and speed of light and all those kind of things built into a good space story, I'm totally here for this. It was giving me that kind of feel of that TV show, The 100, which I never saw the end of that. If you've seen that show, let me know if I should go back and watch it. But this book I look forward to reading. So that's ambitious. That's an ambitious TBR list. But I'm not done. If I were to have room from my classic slash nonfiction slash middle grade slash mammoth, there's a couple more nonfiction. I've been getting into a real nonfiction longing, that, like, you know how sometimes you just feel in that mood to do whatever. I've been feeling nonfiction-ish. Is that a word? Nonfiction-ish. Is a River Alive? This is a book that kind of argues, like, almost like a river has rights, and you know, what happens upriver affects downriver and affects not only people but the animals and the wildlife. And it follows 3 stories going into some depth about what's going on in those rivers. There's one in Ecuador, one in Canada, and one in India. So I think it's going to be really interesting. Also, maybe they'll go into a little bit about how different countries or different cultures even approach it, or how they respond to it. I'm expecting to learn a lot from that one whenever I get to it. And finally, another book that I got for Christmas that I'm pretty excited to read, The Tequila Wars. This is also nonfiction, talking about Mexican spirits, right? And I think it'd be fascinating. You know, I never think about it. I mean, I love a good margarita, but I never kind of thought about some of these backstories. So it may not, those last 2 in particular may not happen in March, because that's a really ambitious, huge stack. And we're gonna go for it. We're gonna try. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens, y'all. Let me know in the comments which ones you would like to look forward to hearing about. Maybe I will bump those up if I start getting crunch time at the end, because March is actually a fairly busy month. So we will see. If you've read any and think I should bump them up, let me know. If you want to read any of these with me, let me know, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Happy reading, y'all.